give you a shout out. So please tell me where you are joining from. If you can tell me where you're joining from, I'll be so happy to give you a shout out. Yes. Okay, well, it's fine. Even if you are too shy to type, sometimes I get a little bit shy. But I realized that this year I just want to be more visible, and I want to damn the consequence of people's opinion. I think I've been pretty hard on myself and I've not been so visible across my social media platforms. And I said this year is this year and I'm going to change that. And pretty far it's been helping out. So, like I said in the topic, we're here to discuss fuel prices. I could see some other people have joined us. So please, okay, Abdusalam Gamer. Hi, how are you doing, Abdusalam? Abdusalam, if you can tell me where you are joining from, I'll be so happy. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria. My name is Atunuke Mati Shobo, and I am the face behind Ride with Tinu. And I want us to have a very good time, a very interesting and conversational time. So please do not let me be doing the talking alone. We are here to converse. So the first question I'm going to ask you is that if you are watching from Nigeria, one of the foremost things that I'm here to talk about is the recent increase in the price of fuel. I released a video, I posted a video about 2 days ago, yes, a short on the UK Parliament where Kemi Badenoch, our Nigerian sister who has refused to fully align herself in her Nigerian roots, she was asking the UK Prime Minister why the cost of petrol has actually gone up. You know, when I saw that video, I thought to myself, I was like, whoa, so it's not only Nigeria that is in this group chat. I think this issue of petrol is a global thing. But if anyone that is so interested in world politics, because I myself, I'm just a little bit in and out when it comes to politics. I'm a little bit in and out. So can anyone tell me why, you know, the Iranian war and the US thingy has got fuel prices like going high? Can anyone tell me that? Because as a Nigerian, I'm actually concerned when fuel prices go up, because what you begin to see when fuel prices go up is a total increase in the price of commodity. So if you're watching this live, maybe based on the area that you're in, how much is fuel being sold in your area? I would love to know. Please type it in the comment section. How much is fuel being sold to you in your area? Here in Lagos State, Nigeria, some places I get it 1,132 naira. I think those are for places that, you know, probably they're in partnership with Dangote. And then in other private marketers, okay, 19. You must be kidding me. Obayemi Adeosun, where are you reaching me from? What part of Nigeria are they selling it 19? That is pretty ridiculous. Rivers, oh no. You know, while I was driving to church this morning, I actually saw I think a private marketer, it was 1,230 naira, and I was like, wow, why is it so high? So, you know, buying it at 19 is seriously ridiculous. In Oyigbo, oh my god. You see, that's what we're talking about. Obayemi, if you can answer, apart now with this new development 19, like what's the most expensive commodity now in River State? Yes, I'm actually tired about it. I'm like, it's giving me a whole lot of headache. So Yemi, what do you think? Like, what's the most common thing in Rivers that, you know, when there is a hike in fuel price, that commodity goes up so much? I'm sure it would have taken a toll on transportation as well, Yemi, if I'm not mistaken. And then we ask ourselves, like, whoa, I think to be a Nigerian is actually very expensive to be a Nigerian, because today this can be high, tomorrow this can be high. I remember a few months ago, shortly after I just given birth, it was gas. Yes, it was cooking gas. It wasn't funny. Like the price went up and it was kind of scarce. And now that we are seeing increase in the cost of petrol, transportation, and price of things too. Exactly, especially when you talk about food. This morning I went to get my regular fruits and I was like, whoa, even the fruits too. And you ask yourself, like, everyone seems to say, oh, when the price of fuel goes up, every other thing it adds to it. And I'm like, to be a Nigerian these days is actually it's okay. It's actually funny. It's actually funny. And with this new development now, do you think, I digress a little bit. With this, do you think relationships or marriages can survive? Does does marriage need money? Does relationship need money to work? What's your opinion? Adeoshun, if you're still with me on this live, do you think relationships can actually survive in this economy? What's your opinion? I really want to know. And if you're just joining in, you're welcome to my live. Kindly tap in the comments where you're joining from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria. I said, but really, what's the cause of all this? Yeah, exactly. I want to know. So if you know that you're on this live and you are very, very, like, you're very familiar with world politics and all these things, can you tell us what's happening and why there is a hike in the price of fuel? I would really love to know. I want to be enlightened because I've sat myself down to say, whoa, what's the problem? Nigeria is blessed with oil. We have our crude oil, yes. So even if there is war going on in Iran, should we be affected? I thought we had our own oil, and I thought we had refinery. Yes, the Dangote refinery. It's by the grace of God. Exactly. See, but all of us are just surviving by the grace. Sometimes to be a Nigerian is pretty tough. It's pretty difficult. It's pretty emotional. It's pretty heartbreaking because today you can wake up to a new reality. And I think that's just how it has been for most Nigerians. I mean, Nigerians, when can we get a break? When can we get a break? Before, it was the first subsidy was removed. And ever since, it has been going up and down. See, if you ask me now, I can even wish for the fuel to go back to being 600 naira. Yeah, his relationship maybe the type that has patience. Exactly, because people really say that love is not expensive. Yeah, I agree, love is actually not expensive, but when the price of fuel starts to go up, when the price of transportation, when the price of food starts to go up, it takes a toll on relationship. So can we really say love is not expensive? If you're just joining in, you're welcome to my live. Kindly let me know where you're joining from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria. Yes, I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria. So as I was actually saying, I really wish we can get to a time where fuel was being sold for at least 600 naira. Like, sometimes I think about it, especially when I'm in the filling station. Like, I ask myself, I'm like, wow, it was just years ago. It was just years ago that we used to buy fuel for 100 and something naira in those the government owned filling stations, and then it was in the private station they were 200 and something, and now we're buying fuel for 1,200 and something. And someone on this live just told me that in Rivers State it is being sold for 1,900 naira. I think that is pretty disturbing. And then I asked myself that I think the average Nigerian is actually stressed at this point, because when fuel prices go up, what goes up? Your food increases. Cost of transportation, it actually increases, and it takes a toll on a lot of people. Yes, it takes a toll on a lot of people, especially average Nigerians. I saw a video on TikTok. I reside in Lagos State here, and there is this girl. She's a content creator. She normally wakes up very early. That is the reality of 9-to-5 workers. If you are a 9-to-5 worker, please can you say hi in the comments? I want to give you a shout out because you are God's warrior. I mean, I work from home. I'm a work from home mama. I cannot afford to do a 9-to-5 in Lagos. And this lady, she's a 9-to-5er, and she wakes up as early as probably 4 a.m. and then she gets to the park where she takes the BRT, probably to the island where she works. And she said every time she gets there, she said this is how Lagos is. When you wake up, even if you wake up 5 a.m., you're going to see people lined up. And there was a time there were no buses, there were no BRT buses to convey people to work. And it was so frustrating for her. Like, she was so angry, and then she had to film herself in the whole mess, and she had to be saying, oh, the government should provide buses and all of that. And I think people were angry with her. You know, it raised all sorts of chaos online. It was actually funny, but it wasn't funny because Nigerians were like, enough is enough. Like, we're tired of this. So I feel, when are we going to rest in this country? Like, seriously, when are we going to rest? And don't forget, on this live, we're also here to talk about relationship issues. So if you are in a relationship, kindly drop a love or a heart emoji in the comment section. I would love to see it. I'm waiting for your comments. If you are actually in a relationship, whether you're married, you're dating, or you're engaged, kindly drop love, because there are some, there's some real tea we want to spill on relationship talk. So I want to really hear from your own opinion. Yes. Okay, if you can hear me, kindly type love in the comment section. Yes. I hope my network isn't floppy, because sometimes I can see people joining from real time. Other times my screen is just, oh, hi, thanks for joining this live. Kindly drop a love emoji if you are in a relationship, you're married, or you're dating, or you're even engaged, because now it's time to talk about relationship tea. A lot has been happening. There is this famous celebrity, Big Brother Nigeria superstars, Bam Bam and Teddy A. Like, what's the tea? What's the tea? Marriages now these days. I think I watched, was it Omotola? Yes, Omotola is a popular Nigerian actress, and she praised her husband, because if there is anything, I for one, I admire Omotola Jalade. How many people know Omotola Jalade? If you know Omotola Jalade, say hi in the comment section. I would love to see that I'm not the only one that can relate to this celebrity. So Omotola was, discussing about how she and her husband, they've come to an understanding about her work, and how he's her number one supporter. I emphasize on support. Like, he lets her do what she does. She's an actress and she needs to show up. So this man has supported her career, because they've been together since she was 18. And that's a pretty young age, if I may tell you, because to be 18, yes, they just say 18 is the benchmark for adulthood and the rest. But at 18, I was pretty much living with my parents. At 18, I was still in the university. So I can imagine how young me at 18 would have coped while being married. But that was Omotola's own reality. Omotola got married at a very young age. And she said this man, her husband, has supported her, has, cheered her up, and that's how we know that she's a global superstar. And she said, look, my husband let me do what I do. And then we look at it in today's marriages, and I say marriages are really crashing. But let me ask you something. If you can hear me today, I want to ask that, does Nigeria have a factor on why many marriages are crashing today? If you think so, please kindly type yes in the comment section. If you think that Nigeria has a factor to play in the breakout or breakup in marriages and relationships, because at this point, the stress the average Nigerian face might be enough to put a toll on relationships and marriages. So I ask myself that, whoa, what's happening between Bam Bam and Teddy A? Can anybody tell me the tea? What's happening between Bam Bam and Teddy A? And let me ask you, as a Nigerian, or I don't know, probably if you're from Nigeria or you're from another country, like, at what age do you think is the most appropriate to get married? If you can hear me in this live, at what age do you think is the most appropriate, age to get married? At what age? I want to hear your opinion. Because these days we ask ourselves that, wow, marriages are not, pretty lasting like it used to be before. Everybody is just, getting divorced or getting separated. And I was just talking to myself, like, why is this so? It's been on the news, rumors about Teddy A and Bam Bam, although both parties haven't come up to say that maybe they are actually divorced or something, but there is tension there. There's tension there. And then I ask myself, like, what's it with marriages these days? And what do you think is the good recipe for a lasting marriage? What do you think is the good recipe for a lasting marriage? And then we'll talk about social media pressure as well. We'll talk about social media pressure. Amidst everything, I'm a mother of 4 children, and while I was just in the bathroom while I was taking my bath, I just thought to myself, and I said, I think about the pressures the young people face, yes, especially on social media. And I was like, at this stage in my life and at this age, I don't think it was before probably that maybe I used to get bothered by, okay, it's a relationship, maybe the type that has patience. Oh, thanks for joining this live. Can you kindly let me know where you're watching from? I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria, and we're here to talk about the real tea in today's, society. We're talking about fuel price. Someone has told me here that fuel is being sold 1,900 in their area, and I was complaining this morning while I was driving, and I saw a private marketer, they're selling theirs 1,200 naira, and I didn't have an idea that it will be 1,900 somewhere else. That's almost 2,000 naira, and if care is not taken, it might even jump beyond that. And it's actually very disturbing. It's pretty disturbing. So if you can hear me, I was asking because I really need to get your opinion on this. At what age do you think it's the most appropriate time for somebody to get married? At what age? It doesn't matter the person's country, or it doesn't matter the person's tribe, state of origin. Like, to you, at what age do you think is the most appropriate time for somebody to get married? I do feel a lot of people, why is it that in Nigeria people are pressured to get married? I think marriage is a very sacred thing. It's not something that people should just jump into. Yes, it's a long-term commitment. And that was why I respect Omotola Jalade when she said that divorce wasn't something that she really looked at. And probably not because she said she's not against it, because there are just some marriages that there is no other option but for them to go their separate ways, either for their safety, their mental health. But she said divorce is something that she hasn't really looked at or considered, saying that marriage to her is a long-term commitment. And so that's what I'm asking you today. At what age do you think is the most appropriate time for somebody to get married? Please type it in the comment section. I want to see your comments. What age do you think is most appropriate for somebody to get married? And also, why do you think Nigerians pressure people a lot about marriage? When last did you see somebody asking you, if you're single, for instance, when last did you see someone say, oh, when are you going to get married? Because I think it's a Nigerian thing. It's our society. A lot of young people are pressured to get married. And that is why so many marriages are falling apart today. Like, by the time you go on social media, you get to hear about breakup of marriages, and I think it's just so sad. It's sad because I think bad marriages or toxic marriages are getting a lot of PR. So many people don't believe in good marriages any longer. Many people have given up on true love, and I ask myself, is it the society? So if you are still with me on this live, kindly type what age do you think is most appropriate to get married? Okay. Um, where do I type my message and get it pinned? Where is it? Okay, is it poll or Q&A? Okay. Ask a question. Okay, so what question? Okay. Pray for somebody to get married. to get married. If you can hear me, I am actually typing for someone to get married. What age do you think is like most appropriate for someone to get married? I think that's the text limits. So I'll just put marry. Oh no. Marry. If you can hear me, I'm actually asking what it okay, so what age, if you can actually hear me. And if you're watching this live, kindly let me know where you're watching from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria. This is Ride with Sinu. My name is Atnuke Matishogo. So I just put on the screen, I hope you can see it. What's your opinion? At what age do you think is appropriate for somebody to get married? You know, these days, with the way relationships, marriages are breaking here and there, I think it's pretty disturbing. And I asked myself that, will the current economic situation in Nigeria, will it take its toll on Nigerians? What do you think? They say love is not expensive. Yes, love is actually cheap. But when the price of things starts to go up, when the price of fuel, when the price of transportation, the price of food starts to go up, do you really think it can sustain love? And that is why probably the cost of things, the economic situation of Nigeria has taken a toll on relationships. Like, come on, we hear popular celebrities falling out, even though they are just rumors and nothing has been confirmed yet. It still puts, you know, it still points out something, that relationships are being stressed, marriages are actually being stressed. So at this point, I think it is expensive being a Nigerian. If you can hear me, if you're watching me, can you tell me where you are watching from? I really love to know where everyone is joining in from. So tell me where you're watching from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria, Ikeja, the state capital. And if you're just joining in, we've been discussing about a whole lot of things. We've been discussing about pump price, like how ridiculous. Oh no. I just remembered Yemi who told me on this live that fuel is being sold 1,900 in its place. And here I was actually complaining about the 1,100, and at most, I think the independent marketers, those private ones, they are selling theirs for 1,200. And I cannot believe this, that people are buying fuel in Nigeria 1,900. And these are oil states, because the person that told me that he's buying fuel for 1,900 said he's in Rivers, and these are oil producing states. So like, I do not understand. If you are the kind of person that is into world politics or global politics, can you let me know why the recent happenings in the world, why it's affecting fuel price all over the world? Because I posted a video few days ago about Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the opposition party in the United Kingdom, and she was complaining, she was asking the Prime Minister, saying that fuel price has gone up, and why is this so? I want to know in Nigeria, because I thought Nigeria to a very large extent is blessed with crude oil. Like, we have our own oil, and we have our refinery too, thanks to Dangote. So then what is happening? Why are we still buying fuel at such ridiculous price? Like, Nigerians, it's been so heartbreaking for us, because ever since 2023, when the fuel subsidy was actually removed, we've not been able to get a very stable fuel price. It has been hiking, it has been fluctuating. Actually, it has been going up and down. So if you can hear me today, why do you think the prices of fuel is high? I want you to really answer me, because I want to actually be enlightened. I want you to tell me why you think the price of fuel is high in Nigeria. And what's the most expensive thing? I think I'm going to change the question. To what's the most expensive thing in your area right now? What's the most expensive? If you can watch me, if you can hear me, what's actually the most expensive thing sold to you in your area as a result of this fuel price? What's the most? All right, How do I get to edit this question? Okay, I can just end it and then put another one. What's the most expensive thing in your area? What's the most expensive commodity in your area right now? What is the most expensive thing in your area right now? What's the most expensive thing in your area right now? In Lagos over here, I think the cost of food is still at the very, top of the list. It's actually high. Living in the southwest, for someone like myself who has lived in the northern part of Nigeria, I can tell you for free that it is actually the cost of food in southwest, especially Lagos State, is actually high. And this is pretty because most of the food stuff that we consume are being, they are being shipped, or they are brought to the north, sorry, from the north, like they bring them from the north. So, and because of the price of fuel, it's definitely going to affect the price of food. So what is actually the most expensive thing? I don't know if you can see my screen. This is my first time of being on YouTube live, and I want this to be an interactive session as much as possible. I don't want it to be a lecture. I don't just want to come and talk. So okay. So yeah, I think I've seen that. So what is the most expensive thing in your area right now? You can let me know this by typing in the comment section. And I maintain that as someone that is living in Lagos State, Nigeria, I can say food still remains at the top of the list when it comes to the most expensive thing. Yes, food still remains the top. So, but for you, I don't know where you're watching from, and I really love to know where everyone is joining from. So kindly let me know where you're watching from. I think the most expensive thing in the area is food, but for you, I don't know where you're watching from. Can you let me know where you're watching from so that I can give you a shout out? I want to know if you can actually hear what I'm saying. What's the most expensive thing in your area as a result of this fuel price increment? And if you can hear me, kindly type hi in the comment section. I want to know those who are watching. Earlier on in the live, Mustafa reached out. Abdul Salam reached out. Yemi Adeoshun, yes, Yemi Adeoshun, actually he interacted by telling me that fuel is being sold 1,900 in his area, and I find that pretty unbelievable. Like, that is so, it's like, no, that is so ridiculous. Like, being in Nigeria at this point, I think it's very stressful. But if you're being given the chance to pick either like between living in Nigeria and living abroad, where are you going to pick? I'm very anxious, like I'm very curious, rather, I think curious is the word. I'm curious to know, if you're to pick between living in Nigeria and living abroad, what are you going to pick? Do you know what japa is? I believe there are some Nigerians watching this. Are you watching from Nigeria? Do you know what japa is? So if you're to pick between living in Nigeria and living abroad at this point, what are you going to pick, and tell me why? If you're to pick between living in Nigeria and living abroad, what are you going to pick? And let me know why in the comment section. Let me know. Please start sending in your answers. I want to see it. And if you can see the Q&A that I pinned to the screen about the most expensive thing in your area right now, depends on where you're living. You can be living in Lagos State just like I am, and I can tell you that the most expensive thing is actually food here. Yeah, a lot of food stuff are still actually expensive. In fact, recently some have climbed high just because of the recent fuel price increment. So I don't know where you're watching from. So what's the most expensive thing in your area? And secondly, if you're to pick between living in Nigeria and living abroad, what are you going to actually pick? Yes, I'm anxious to know that. What are you going to pick? And let us know why. Let us know why you're going to pick that. And if for anything, when I posted the video that I posted, and please, if you're watching and you're not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe, because I actually post videos every week about trending issues especially in Nigeria and a little bit of globally, but mostly in Nigeria. So if you're that kind of person that you want to be, you want to be fed with the recent happenings, please, I've lost my words, so please kindly subscribe to my channel. And then I wanted to say something actually, and I think I've actually forgotten it, and it would be such a shame because what I wanted to say is very, very important. Oh no, I wish I can remember right now. I'm gonna crack my head. How do I remember this? This is so awkward right now. Wow. But I'll keep on talking till I remember what I want to say. Can you relate to this? Can you relate to, you wanted to say something and just before you know it, it flies off your head? I can't count how many times this thing has happened to me. Maybe because I'm a mother and a lot of things are in my brain. And I think I heard something scientifically, I don't know how true it is, that with every pregnancy, the size of a woman's brain actually shrinks. I don't know how true this is. Like, tell me this isn't true, because if you tell me that this is true, I think I'm going to be disturbed like for the rest of the evening, because see, and I hardly remember anything without putting it on my reminder app on my phone. If you go through my phone, especially the calendar, there's this Samsung app. If you go through the calendar, honestly, everything I need to do, all my schedule, all my tasks, even before I could, put myself to sit for this live, I had to put it on my reminder app since yesterday, because I know that I made a post, I designed a graphic, and I said I'm going to go live today. And then I said, whoa, what if tomorrow, because of this and that, I forget that I'm to go on live and I do not carry on with the live? So I actually put it, and now it has just happened to me, and I don't know how many people it has happened to. If it has happened to you, please type it in the comment section. I really want to know, because I'm trying to remember what I actually want to say. I cannot believe I can't remember. But if you can hear me and if you're still watching this live, kindly answer what's on the screen. What is the most expensive thing in your area right now? It could be fuel, it could be something. I'm curious. I actually want to know what's the most expensive thing that is being sold in your own area. Kindly type it in the comment section. Yes. Okay, Hope Moses. Hello, Hope Moses. How are you? Hope Moses, you're the same Hope Moses from Federal Government Girls College, Bida, isn't it? It's very nice to have you on my live. It's great. Hope Moses, how are you doing? You can hear me. Kindly type in the comment section. So far, this is my first time on YouTube live, so I'm going to be free to be as cringe as possible. I'm going to be free to be as cringe as possible. Hope Moses, if you're still on, kindly let me know how you're doing, Hope, and where are you reaching from? I remember, Hope, in my secondary school, it was a boarding school. Yes, I was a boarding student. Yeah, how awkward, but I think I remember most of my school friends, and boarding was a very great time. It was a very good experience. Anytime I remember it, I just get a little bit nostalgic. So I'm just remembering the good times I had in my secondary school. And I remember how, the cost of transportation then. The cost of transportation then was pretty fair. I can remember then in school, the buses used to take us, because I schooled in Bida. The buses used to take, and I lived in Mina, Niger State. Yeah. So the buses used to take, I think Bida to Mina buses, it's 500 or 1,000 naira. I think it's either 500. So I can only imagine how it would be now. Good old times. And that was from year 2007 till 2010, because I graduated 2010 actually. Yes. So if you are still with me on this live, kindly let me know where you're watching from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria, the state's capital, Ikeja City. Yes. What's the most expensive thing that is being sold to you in your area as a result of fuel price, the increment in the price of fuel? Yeah, I think I remember what I wanted to say. So I said I admire Kemi Badenoch a lot. I admire the people in the UK. When Kemi Badenoch was asking in Parliament why the cost of petrol had gone up, The man started to stammer. And then I compared it with Nigeria, because Nigeria is in total contrast with that. Whenever things are going wrong, like now, the recent increment in the price of fuel, the citizens are doing what? We are just taking out our grievances on social media. Nobody is asking anybody any question. Nobody is questioning this. Nobody is, confronting this, asking questions. Anything that happens in this country, we just take it like that and we try to adjust. But in the video that I posted a few days ago, Kemi Badenoch was asking in parliament, and she was saying, why? I want to know why the cost of petrol is actually high. But no one can do that in Nigeria. So if there is anything, I admire the citizens of the UK. And I think Nigerians, we should copy that. I mean, Nigerians, let us not just swallow anything these people, the leaders, the government authorities. What do you think? What's your opinion? If you're watching this live, what do you think the citizens can do in the face of this recent fuel price increment? And if you can answer the question on the screen, I'll be so happy. What's the most expensive thing that is being sold in your area right now? I want to know. So far, I think I've been enjoying this live. I think there are some people that are just quietly watching and they are not saying anything. I think it's fine for you to watch, and sometimes I just like to be quiet and scroll my phone. Today is Saturday, yeah, and this is a time for a lot of people to unwind. But if you're shy like I am sometimes, you can let me know in the comment section where you're watching from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria, and I am just here to talk and to rant about the recent happenings in the country. I think it's actually stressful being Nigerian. But if I'm to ask you that is actually watching this, if I say choose between living in Nigeria and living abroad, I'm sure if you're Nigerian, you know what they call japa. So if I ask you that, would you love to japa at the moment, or would you love to remain in Nigeria at this point? What's your answer going to be? I'm curious to know. So kindly tell me, if I ask you that, are you going to stay in Nigeria? If you're being given the choice, probably a visa to a country of your choice, like your dream country, if I give you the choice and the liberty to choose between living in Nigeria and traveling abroad and jackpot, what's your answer going to be? Hi, thanks for joining this live. Kindly let me know where you're joining from. I'm delighted to have everyone on this live. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel, because I'm sure you don't want to miss some videos that I'm going to be posting and releasing in this coming week. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, by the way. So if you still have a mother, I think it's nice time for you to, put her in your prayers and probably reach out to her tomorrow to tell her how wonderful that she has been. Yes, so it'll be so lovely. So you're welcome to this live. Kindly let me know where you are joining from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Ikeja, the city capital. Hope Moses, if you're still on this live, Hope Moses, how are you doing? And I still want to know, what is the most expensive thing that is sold in your area? As a result of the fuel price increment, it has taken a toll on the prices of commodities, even transportation, if I'm not mistaken. So what's the most expensive thing in your area as a result of this fuel price increment? I really want to know that. And if you're here and you're watching me, I was asking, I said, what's the most appropriate age for somebody to think about marriage? I think in this country, society pressures people a lot to get married. And we know what we see whenever we come on social media. We see so many relationship or marriages falling apart. And then I ask myself, like, whoa, sometimes some people are not just ready before they dive into marriage. And that is why it's so difficult for them to stay in a marriage. So if you can hear me and if you're watching me on this live, kindly let me know at what age you think is the most appropriate for somebody to get married. What's your own opinion? Like, I want to know. Kindly let me know in the comment section, please. Thanks for joining this live. Where are you joining from? I'd love to give you a shout out. Kindly let me know. Say hi in the comments. What's the most expensive thing that is sold in your area right now? And for my viewer, where are you joining from? I really love to know. Marriage doesn't mean anything. Oh, yeah. Well, I might disagree with that. I don't think marriage doesn't mean anything. I think marriage is a okay, let me not say lifetime commitment, but in most religions, marriage is just like something, my father used to say, let me just bring it down to my father. Before I got married, my dad told me, he said, marriage is the only institution where you get your certificates before you even begin the schooling. Thank you for liking this live. Thank you so much. If you're still on this live, kindly like it so that the live can go beyond. So okay, you would love to have 40 women in my house. Well, um okay, 40 women. But wait, Jangai, that's actually that's pretty funny. You know why I think that's funny? I think that's funny because how do you start to how do you start to handle 40 women? Because if you ask, I don't know who is a man that is watching this, what do you think about what Jangai said? Jangai, if you're still on this live, I don't know if I got your pronunciation right. Um, Jangai, why would you love? Okay. Keep them hidden, but okay, sure. Why do you think? Why? Okay, why do you think that you can handle 40 women? Because I have, anyway, there is a story of a man in Bida that had 80 wives. Hope Moses, are you still on this live? Because you schooled in Bida just like I schooled in Bida, Federal Government Girls College Bida, and I've forgotten his name. That time when we used to go to town in secondary school, and there is a particular area we used to pass. God, where is that area again? I think it's Eso. Is it Eso? Those that have been to Bida local government in Niger State. Okay, why did King Solomon Bible need like 1,000 women? Oh, well, I think that was then. And let me tell you something. If you read your Bible very well, in the book of Proverbs, which is believed to be written by Solomon, what did he say? He said, this world is vanity upon vanity. This is someone that was married to hundreds of women and had several concubines. So my own opinion is that I don't think anybody can measure up to the wisdom of Solomon. Like, hear me out right now. Can anybody really measure to the wisdom of Solomon? And if Solomon had 1,000 women and his end was still not so great, and he came out to say all these things are vanity upon vanity, then if I were you, I'm going to learn from King Solomon and say, I think when Jangai said I would love to have 40 women in my house, although Jangai, you've not yet responded. Why would you love to have 40 women in your house? What are you going to be doing with 40 women? And like, if you're just joining this live, thanks for joining in. Kindly like the live. If you like it, this live would it will be shown to other audiences and they can join in on the discussion. And kindly let me know where you're coming, where you're joining from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria, and I've been asking series of questions, one of which is pinned on the screen. What is the most expensive thing in your area right now apart from fuel? I learned that on this live, fuel is being sold in some places in Nigeria for 1,900 naira. I think that is pretty ridiculous. Like, how did we even allow see, my back hurts from all this. Like, how did we even allow ourselves to get here? Thanks for joining this live. Kindly comment your location, tell me where you're joining from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria. I would really love to know where you're reaching me from so that this discussion can go on smoothly. Like, let us interact, let's get to know each other. Okay, you're from England. Okay, so in England, how are things there? Recently I posted a video about Kemi Badenoch, when Kemi Badenoch said that the most expensive thing is women. Oh yeah, probably. I think women, we love to be well taken care of, if that's what you mean. So if you don't have money, your relationships might suffer. I was saying it when people say that love is not expensive. I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. No doubt. To love is free, to love doesn't have to come with so much cost. But what happens when the price of fuel goes up, when the price of food goes up, when the price of transportation goes up? Is love going to still remain cheap? When the prices are going up, is love still going to remain cheap? Or marriages are falling out because of the economic situation? You know, by the time you go on social media, you hear a lot of things about marriages, relationships, how marriages are falling apart, and then you ask yourself that, I hope it's not the current economic situation that is taking its toll on marriages. If you're on this live, thanks for joining in. Kindly let me know where you're watching from. Afscan said he's watching from England, and I said, how are things there in England? Recently, the Prime Minister, we're told, increased the cost of petrol in the United Kingdom, and in Nigeria too. Fuel price has gone up. But I asked myself, and I really want someone that is into world politics or global politics to answer me, because I really want to be enlightened. If this is an oil producing nation, why is it that we are not joining the war? We have nothing to do with this war, isn't it? let me follow the host of people who have been saying that this war does not concern us, it does not affect us, as in. But now that we are seeing fuel price increment, I am forced to rethink it. I am actually forced to rethink it, that actually this thing affects us some kind of way. That is what I'm forced to, I'm forced to rethink it, that this war that is going on actually affects Nigeria in some kind of way if the price of fuel can go up. So if you're still on this live, thanks for joining in. Kindly like this live. Yes, this is my first time on YouTube live, and it's been quite interactive, if I may say. I started a bit late. I know I put out posts and notifications that I was going to start this live around 4 p.m. Nigerian time, and due to some factor, I wasn't able to go on live just immediately. I think I went in few minutes later. I think I started the live 4:10. Yes. And then I told my friends, because I'm not seeing, okay, I saw Hope Moses from my secondary school, and then on the live chat I haven't seen any of my friends, and I told them, I said, look, if you're not going to join my live chat on YouTube, you're going to be owing me 5 liters of fuel. And I'm so excited because I have so many people to collect 5 liters of fuel from, because there is no other love language this period than fuel. I think so. I think you will agree with me. I think you would agree with me that there is no other love language apart from the price of fuel. Yes. So I know my friends, if you're watching this and you have not said hello on the comment section, then it will be assumed that I didn't see you. I think this is how YouTube live works. I thought it was going to be like TikTok, because I started going live on TikTok, and I think the interface for TikTok is pretty different. When someone joins in, you see the person's name. Jangai. Oh no, I'm not single. I'm actually married. I'm actually married. Yeah. So I said I haven't seen notifications from my friends on this live chat, so I think I have so many people to collect liters of fuel from. Yeah, because I think fuel is the most expensive thing, and they are doing me a favor, because I'm going to definitely collect the 5 liters of fuel. Thanks for liking this live. Please, if you're still on this live, Jangai, where are you watching from? And Afscan, I asked you about the situation of England, and I said, what's the most expensive thing in England right now as a result of the fuel increment, the price of fuel? Because in the parliament it was being raised, and I posted a video about this some few days ago when Kemi Badenoch was complaining, and I think I like that about the United Kingdom. And if there is anything, I want Nigeria to actually emulate that. Enough is enough. Like, when we're not satisfied with things, I think we should. I think I'm trying to find a perfect position, because I think my back hurts. And I said I was going to come in here and I was going to come in here and discuss, because I'm not here to lecture anybody. I want us to converse, and that is why I'm still waiting on you to tell me what is the most expensive thing that is being sold in your area at the moment. Yes. If there is anything I want Nigerians to copy. Okay. I am Jangai. Well, but that hasn't got anything to do with the life. So, if there's anything I want Nigerians to emulate, I want them to emulate the fact that many countries and many citizens of, of countries, they actually hold Jamaica. Okay, you're from Jamaica. So how are things in Jamaica? Is the price of fuel high in Jamaica? How is it? I really want to know. It's actually funny. I think Nigerians, we need to learn a lot of things. I think we need to hold the government responsible. We should hold them accountable. I really admired Kemi. I'm not a huge fan of hers. Like, not I'm a huge fan, but when I saw that video, anytime I see that video, I just get empowered. Something just enters me. Like, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Someone should do this in this country. Someone should do this in this country. Let us hold our leaders accountable. When I saw, see, but I have the video saved on my phone. So anytime I look back at that video, I get so excited. Something just pushes me. Look at Patience. Hello, Mama Bear. Just stopping by to say well done on the live today. I'm proud of you for showing up and sharing your voice. Keep shining and doing that. Thank you so much, Winifred. I recognize you. Winifred, you're free. I said my friends that would not join the live chat, they are going to be owing me fuel. So Winifred, don't tell me that you sent this message. Okay, let me screenshot Winifred's message. Winifred, don't tell me that you sent this message because you don't want to owe me fuel. No problem. Well, I've forgiven you, so you're not owing me fuel any longer. But for those who are not able to, send their messages on my YouTube live stream, I will just take it automatically that you were absent from this live chat, and then I'm going to collect my 5 liters of fuel. Just imagine what I would do with 5 times how many? I think I have about 10 people. That I'm going to query for not joining this live. And then when we do 5 times 10, I'm not a very good mathematician, but let me just try. 5 times 10 is 50. So 50 liters of fuel. Oh, damn. That's going to go a long way. Yeah, it's going to go a very long way in my car tank. Yes. So nice to meet you. I subscribed, but I got notification from other channels, so I'm going up now. Oh, thank you, Abscan. It's so nice to have you on my live stream. Thank you so much for subscribing. Looking forward to interact with you on so many lives and also on my videos. So if you're just joining this live, kindly let me know where you're joining from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria, Ikeja, the city capital. And I still want to know what's the most expensive thing in your area right now. Because of the recent increment in the price of fuel, things have gone up. Food prices up, transportation, check. Like, everything is just high. And then I asked myself, does the recent economic situation, does it have its toll on relationships? Like, anytime we go on social media, we see 1 or 2 marriages falling apart, and it's pretty sad. And someone on this live said marriage doesn't mean anything, but I beg to disagree. Many people do not enter marriage with the mindset of, oh, I'm just entering this marriage to just, to while away my time, to catch cruise. You understand? I'm not entering this marriage to catch cruise, but I'm entering this marriage with this person because I want to walk on a journey with this person. Like I was saying earlier on, my dad told me that marriage is the only institution where you collect the certificate before you even begin like your studies. And that's pretty interesting because you are expected to just carry on with this. And my favorite celebrity, Omotola, when she described how marriage has been for her, she said that it's a lifelong thing for her, and she's the kind of person that she doesn't consider divorce. And she actually gave a shout out to her husband, thanking him for always being there for her. That's what she said. That's what she said. And it's actually inspiring to know that some people, they still believe in the sanctity of marriage. Yes. So if you're watching this live, kindly let me know where you're joining from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria. Kindly like this live so that it could reach other audience. Yes, I've been on this live for over 50 minutes, and this is my first time on YouTube live. Yes. And if you want me to give you a shout out, kindly type hi in the comment section. I'd really love to know where you're joining from. I really love to know where everyone is joining from. And I asked earlier on, I said, at what age do you think is most appropriate for somebody to get married? And why do you think Nigerians pressure people a lot about marriage? I would love to know. Why do you think Nigerians pressure people a lot about marriage? I don't know. Like, sometimes some people get asked a lot, oh, why are you not married? Although I'm actually married. I'm a married woman. But I see on social media that this is something that people still do. People still pressure people to get married, and then when you see marriages failing, and then you're like, wow, is it something that these people were ready, or they just went into it just because they bow down to societal pressures? And I know I released the video a few days ago talking about body dysmorphia and how social media pressures people a lot on body images. I think social media is just a tool of pressure. Sometimes I just ask myself, like, how do we even cope? How do we even cope with all of this? Because social media, for anything, like, it's not so easy. Yeah. Thanks for liking the live. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you liking the live. So I said, I'm asking that, why do you think people are pressured to get married in Nigeria? People always want to know when you're getting married. People always, if you're enjoying this live, kindly kindly like the live. This is YouTube, and this is my first time on YouTube live. Damn. And let me know where you're watching from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria, Ikeja, the city capital. And do you think the current economic situation has its toll on relationships and marriages in the country? I mean, people say love is not expensive. Yes, I agree with you. Love is actually cheap. But with the price of fuel, with the price of food, when the prices of all these things go up, are you sure love is still going to remain cheap? Because I really don't know. And why do you think society pressures people a lot about marriage? If there is anything society pressures on, how many people go on Instagram and probably Facebook and think that, am I the only one that is not rich? How many people think when you go on Instagram, you start to ask yourself, like, whoa, am I the only one that... If you can relate, kindly type yes in the comment section. If you can relate to going on Instagram and feeling like pretty left behind, and feeling pretty back if you go on social media, because I think social media stands to pressure a lot of people. Social media will pressure you on probably your finances, on your physique, on your body. I'm so sorry. See, I have to assume this position because I've been upright and my back is actually paining me. So I just had to assume this position. I just have to assume this laid back position. And I hope it's not actually disturbing. So if you can hear me, kindly let me know where you're joining from. Thanks for joining my live. This is Ride with Tinu. And kindly subscribe to my channel. Yes, I release videos that, discusses trends, social commentaries, trending gists, and the like. So if you're enjoying this live, you can kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel to get more of my videos. So I think it's almost time for me to end this live. But if there is anything you want to let me know, or if you have any question, you can ask your question in the comment section. I'm ready to read it and I'm going to answer. Okay, so you that is watching, do you have any question? If you have any question, kindly let me know your questions on the comment section so that I can hear you. Where are you watching from? If you're just joining in, thanks for joining in. This is Ride with Sinu. Where are you joining from? I would really love to know where you're joining from. I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria, Ikeja City, the city capital. Abdallah Mamadu. Oh, hi, Abdallah. I'm fine. How are you today? Abdallah, what part of the country are you reaching from? Or what part of the world? What part of the world are you, joining from, Abdallah? If you're joining in, thanks for joining in. We've been discussing things like the fuel price, the increment, and how it has been so difficult, and it has affected, the price of things in Nigeria. The cost of transportation is up. The cost of food is up as well. Okay, you're from Ghana, Abdallah. How is Ghana? How are things in Ghana, Abdallah? Would you say that the fuel price in Ghana is pretty high at the moment? Would you say that? Ghana is our neighboring country. Yes, I know there is always, this back and forth between Nigeria and Ghanaians on social media, and I believe we're just siblings that we do our siblings rivalry a lot. So Abdallah, what's the recent price of fuel in your area, Abdallah? In Ghana, has fuel gone up? Has the price of fuel gone up? What's the most expensive thing in your area right now? And I think I'm going to ask another question to you that is watching this live. Why do you think society pressures people a lot to get married? Recently, anytime I just go on social media, I get notification about people falling apart, rumors of marriages crashing. Recently now there's been rumors about popular celebrities Bam Bam and Teddy A, and I ask myself, like, wow, why is it that marriages are kind of falling apart these days? And when someone on the live, Jangai, he said marriage means nothing, and it's pretty sad because if people are going in with such opinions that marriage it means nothing, then I'm pretty sure that most marriages would crash. Yes, most marriages will crash. And why is marriage quite important and should be treated as a sacred thing that it is because the units of, when you talk about social things and civilization and all of that, the first unit is the family. Yeah, I think I did social studies and civic education, and then they talk about how important the unit of family is. So people you see today are from one family or the other. So it's very, very important that marriage is treated so important. Oh, my back. Damn. Can't believe that I have back pain now. But I think it comes with age. Hi, thanks for joining my live session. Where are you joining from? I'm reaching you from Lagos State, Nigeria, Ikeja, the city capital, and I've actually been discussing about the recent fuel price increments and how it takes a toll on the economy and a host of other things. And if you're enjoying this live, kindly like this live so that I could reach out to many people. Leave a comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and expect my videos. It's been a wonderful time on live here. This is my first YouTube live and it's been so interesting so far. So I think I'll be ending this live section. And I'll see you another time. Thanks for staying with me. Thanks for subscribing. I'll catch you later. Bye. Mm.